This story is from the movie titled Ready or Not 2019. Sit back and enjoy watching. Grace has just joined the wealthy Ladomas family. It turns out that Alex's family has a long-standing tradition. Every time a new member marries into the family, they must play a game with the entire family on the wedding night. In order to officially become part of the family, Grace has no choice but to agree. The family begins to explain the rules of the game. The family possesses a mysterious box. It can randomly generate a game on a blank card. They must play whatever game it chooses. Grace draws the game of hide and seek from the box. Alex, standing beside her, suddenly turns pale. The whole family's tension is palpable. Only Grace is oblivious to the ominous significance. The family explains that Grace can hide anywhere in the mansion. If she is not found before dawn, Grace will win. To ensure fairness in the game, they go so far as to disconnect all the house's surveillance cameras. The doors are automatically locked. Grace quickly hides in a dumbwaiter. Tony, the father-in-law, began distributing weapons to the family members. Except for Alex, the groom. Everyone else is fully armed. It turned out to be a twisted game of cat and mouse. On the other hand, Grace becomes increasingly frustrated. How could they play such a dangerous game on her wedding night? She tries to sneak back to her room to hide. Alex pulls her into a room. The two hide behind the bed, holding their breaths in fear. And the maid walks in. She looks around but doesn't find them under the bed. Just as she's about to leave, Grace pokes her head out to check. She was shocked to see that the maid was shot and killed. Only then does she realize she is the target of the hunt. And the family mistakes the maid for Grace. Grace, hiding behind the bed, dares not make a sound. While they were transporting the maid's body, Grace and Alex quickly sneak out of the room. She asks Alex why he didn't warn her beforehand. But Alex didn't expect his luck to be this terrible. He had drawn the deadly game of hide and seek. He reveals that their family made a deal with a mysterious force. As long as they continue playing this game, their family will remain wealthy and prosperous. If the game is lost, the entire family will face a gruesome end. But Alex remains skeptical of this curse, so he decides to help Grace escape. Time is running out. He instructs Grace to hide in the kitchen, while he sneaks to the monitoring room to unlock the mansion doors. On her way to the kitchen, Grace accidentally encounters 3 family members disposing of the maid's body. There's nowhere to hide. However, one of the women in the group fires a gun, missing again, nearly hitting Tony, the father-in-law, instead. This creates a distraction, allowing Grace to escape. Grace hides in the billiard room. There, she encounters Alex's brother, Daniel. Daniel, who has always despised the family's sinister traditions, decides to give Grace a 10-second head start to escape. Grace runs into another room. She finds a shotgun mounted on the wall. She proceeds to the kitchen with the shotgun strapped to her back. Just as she attempts to use the shotgun to break the lock, the butler walks in unexpectedly. Grace threatens the butler at gunpoint, forcing him to unlock the door. But she quickly realizes the gun is a prop. In a panic, she knocks out the butler with a kettle. At the same time, Alex unlocks the door from the monitoring room. Grace sprints outside to freedom. The sprawling mansion feels like a labyrinth, spotting flashlights coming up behind her. She quickly hides in a barn. She realizes that it's Daniel's nephew following her. Assuming the child is innocent, she's shocked when the child raises a gun. Grace's palm is shot through, leaving a gaping wound. Furious, she knocks the child unconscious. She runs out of the barn and toward the mansion's fence, squeezing through a narrow gap in the fence. Grace encounters a passing Bentley on the road. But the driver looks at Grace, covered in dirt and blood, with disgust. He refuses to stop and help her. Worse, Alex's family has caught up with her. She hides behind a tree, holding her breath to avoid detection. However, the family seems to sense Grace's presence nearby. They stop the car and begin searching on foot. Grace takes the chance to flee again. Fortunately, Grace manages to dodge into the woods and escape. She ends up in a fight with the butler. Grace uses her belt to choke the butler. She successfully knocks him unconscious. She jumps into his car and attempts to drive away. However, the butler caught up with her and brought her back to the house. Grace wakes up tied to an ornate table, struggling against the restraints. Fitch raises a goblet filled with ritual wine to toast before the ritual begins. As Fitch drinks from his goblet, he suddenly starts choking and collapsing to the floor. Daniel had secretly laced the wine with poison to sabotage the ritual. Using the commotion as cover, Daniel quickly begins untying Grace. However, as they try to escape, Charity caught up with them and shot Daniel. She fires without hesitation. Daniel is fatally wounded, collapsing in a pool of blood. Grace fights back, killing Charity in the scuffle. Sadly, Daniel succumbs to his wounds. Grace takes down Tony, her father-in-law. She also kills Becky, Alex's mother. Alex arrives just in time to witness the chaos. Seeing his mother killed, Alex becomes furious and grabs Grace. Dawn is just minutes away. The family scrambles to complete the ritual. They hurriedly restrain Grace on the table to finish the ceremony. Alex reluctantly takes the knife himself. At the critical moment, Grace musters all her strength to break free from the restraints. Just then, the first rays of sunlight pierce through the windows. This signifies that Alex's family has lost the game. The curse dictates that they will face a gruesome end. The entire family trembles with dread. But moments pass and nothing happens. They start to believe the curse was just a family myth. However, Aunt Helene is not ready to let Grace leave alive. Just as she raises her blade to strike Grace, her body suddenly explodes. The curse begins to take effect. One by one, Alex's family members start exploding into gruesome piles of gore. Grace watches the bloody spectacle unfold. She begins laughing hysterically, covered in blood. Soon, Alex is the only one left alive. He begs Grace for forgiveness, hoping to avoid the same fate. Alex pleads, claiming his love for her might save him. But Grace has completely lost trust in him. She coldly removes her wedding ring and tosses it at him. In the final scene, Grace sets the cursed mansion ablaze and sat in front of the house. That's the end of the story. See you next time.